It's a tall order. It's not required.
Buttons are hard. So, does anyone know where they want to move from here, from our weird little coffee moment? Do we want to stay in it, or do we want to move on? Because we can jump ahead several weeks if we want to.
Yeah, I wanna move to something, but I'm not sure what.
At some point, I would like to have a drive with someone in my Jeep.
Do we?
But that's at some point over the session. It doesn't have to be as the next thing.
One of the things I was thinking about that could be important is an opportunity for Hart to go investigate some place where someone has named a sighting of our beer.
That sounds like a really good idea. Yeah.
There's an opportunity to drive there.
So in which case, you've I think we cut in on Hart then with what looks like a fairly modern photograph of an oak deer, and turning it over and looking at it, and there's a location and a time written on the back, and it's in the last couple of weeks, and it's in this remote part of the national park that is probably not even technically part of the national park anymore because it's been cut back. And it's all rocky and hilly and mountainous terrain, but where they've said they saw it, and that is not a photo of that place. It's maybe in the same area vaguely, but definitely not there. It's not at the Violet Falls or whatever, right? Where there's there's the traditional tourist spot that used to have lots of wildflowers and things, and it's
right,
and it's nowhere near there, as far as, because there wouldn't be these plants growing there in the photograph. Right,
the landscape is all wrong for Violet Falls, which has big scrapes, and absolutely.
Exactly. So you're puzzling over this, and there's a little old lady who could have never gotten there. Gotten to that place, she couldn't have done the hike, and she's just yes, I was very excited. I got my son to print it out from the digital camera.
Good job,
NPC.
Where did you print that from again?
She's well, I got my son to take it, and I think he took it to the chemist. I think the chemist still does photographs. I haven't checked. Normally, I just put them on the Facebook, and then Marjorie, she likes them. She presses the little.
Marjorie, huh?
Yeah, she's from New York State, but we used to be in a tennis club back when I was in college, studying to be an actor. But then I ended up not pursuing that because I felt like it was not in me to pursue to falsely portray the.
Do your kids still have your phone number? Do you have your kid's phone number?
She's well.
Do you have kids?
Yeah. She's well, my son printed it out at the chemist for me.
You should call him.
Yes, I should go and check on him. Yeah, and
thanks for this.
Yeah,
so rude.
She just dodders out, and she's oh, some jerky, and she bends down and picks up jerky off the ground, and gets in her I think it's a baby blue Nissan Micra, and and just toddles off at 20 k's an hour down the road.
Perfect. Yep.
Just peering up over the steering wheel.
I know this old woman.
I could tell from the expression on your face said, Ash is doing one of our makers. And I was like, uh-huh.
Hart will definitely spend time alternating between glaring out the front door and glaring at the photograph, and like back and forth. At which juncture, then and I imagine there's like an office desk set up behind that too tall counter, and with some very kind of done in like swivelly officey chair there on the like
Yeah.
way worn down carpet.
Yeah.
And we'll then turn around and stare at the really creepy map with the really happy birch. And look at the photograph and just start thinking about, like, trying to figure out, like, well, where could that be from?
Yeah. Cool. That sounds like finding facts almost.
Great. I'm into it.
Much like that.
I like it. Search
It's
for
just a
facts.
fun way to trigger it. I'm into it.
Cool. I get to roll plus smart. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Your best stat.
It's right. That thing that Heart's real on about. It's like I tried to pick things that I would end up doing of my own volition with this
Wow.
character. Weird. What does that look like?
It's a wild new
Nice.
concept, new frontiers in role playing.
I don't always manage to do these things, so I'll consider it a success. The good news is that's a 9.
You get a question from the list.
Oh, I can I help? I want to help.
Oh, yes, you can.
What does that look like?
I want to
How do
try
you
and
do that
help.
fictionally?
Cool.
Yeah, so I think what happens is like we're in the middle of this sequence and we just hear like a knock on the door. Actually, no, we don't. No, we don't hear a knock on the door. We hear the sound of bells jingling, and then Rhea's just like inside and the door is like swinging shut, but we didn't hear it make any noise, even though it's an old creaky door.
I imagine it's a screen door, even though I feel like we're moving into autumn, and Hart stubbornly leaves the front screen door
Yeah.
open.
Yeah, no, totally.
So
But yeah, like it's one of those like really like squeaky doors.
with the
we
big
just see it, like,
springy springs.
yeah, and we just see it swinging shut. We didn't hear it open. We just hear the like jingling noise as they like step up to be kind of like next to you on the other side of the counter,
Yes.
and like also regard the map on the wall with like these like kind of like these wonder-filled eyes of just like, what a cool map. I've driven all it, but I've never like seen a map of it before. This is really cool. And they look down and they see the photograph and they're like, I saw some flowers like that once.
Yeah. Well, where is this? There.
And they reach out a hand and like take the thing.
Yeah,
and, like,
hold it
put
up.
over the wall and like start trying to like fit it, like looking as though they're kind of playing like pin the tail on the donkey, and they want to like be like, ha. But like they're trying to figure it out, and I think this is the point at which I need to make a roll.
Great.
Yeah.
And because we designed this game to be the worst, but in the best possible way, I have to roll minus the distances between us. And I have 2 distances with you, so this is probably going to be a disaster.
It's gonna be great.
Yep. Let's see what happens.
Helping is wonderful.
Hey, that's all right. I'll take it.
Nice.
Cool. All right, that bumps you up 1, doesn't it? Yes,
Yep.
but you don't also remove a distance. Cool. So that means that
Darn.
you go from a 7 to 9 to a 10 plus. So you get 3 questions.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Oh, how do we pick? There's so many good ones. Gosh,
There isn't one, which is where are these flowers from, though? So
oh no, of course not. Rudely enough, I'm quite disappointed. Do I need to ask them all up front, or can we go one by one by one?
you can go one by one. If
Great.
You want.
Yeah. I honestly, I'm just going to very briefly sidetrack. I actually think most of the time, one by one is much more interesting in,
Yes.
like,
yeah.
Powered by the Apocalypse games.
Great.
I tend to navigate it. If I feel like I don't have a full answer for one, I say let's move on and build them in together.
Wonderful.
That's the way I go.
No, awesome. So we'll start with what here is incomplete.
Our relationship. And your memory.
I mean, you're,
Is it one-sided?
you're specifically like examining the photograph and the map, though, aren't you?
I know.
Quite.
There's no oak deer.
No, there definitely is.
Oh.
But I think the answer is that this I think you work out that like this is taken at like a time of day where these plants and things are in the sun, but they'd spend most of the day in like the shade of like a very tall rock formation or something, and there's only like that kind of narrows it down to like the highest parts of the park. Yeah.
I love it. Superb. All right. How does Ray fit in?
This is a fun question. Ray is the only one who technically can drive.
Perfect.
Like, according to the rules of the game.
Yeah. And, like, I have an imagining that I have a truck and, like, no money for gas because I don't technically have a job. Like, I have there's a bog standard tiny little Ford Ranger truck that folks who have this job often drive. And
yeah.
So, it's out of gas. There's no funds because I maybe don't have a job.
You couldn't get to that part of the park currently.
Yeah, right. It's that Apocalypse World Dark Ages thing of like I am the only one who has the right, like, capital R to drive.
So good. I love it.
Yeah.
Great.
That fictional positioning.
Mm-hmm. And then, as ever, what here is not what it appears to be. Other than everything.
You hadn't noticed that a section of this map has been scratched away, which is a section that would potentially be this kind of area, but like that map has had someone like with a knife or a coin or something, someone's come and like gone at it. Yeah.
Heart will spend some time like just like rubbing her thumb over that, and they like way too close, like arguably like too close for focal distance. Just spend a hot minute. Do you feel like going on a field trip, Ray?
Yeah, I'm always down to wander.
Seem the type.
Yeah, I think they laugh, right? Like they're like, haha. It's true.
That's what I got. I'd be happy to either call it there, pull in, like, we could either cut to going on a field trip, cut to what
that's the
I would
doing.
Like to cut with a scene. Yeah, cut to a scene with Aguedo.
Great.
I think we cut out on Ray like cocks their head and turns to look at you in this like innocently curious way, and they're like, "Do you have any jerky?"
Cool. All right. Agueda, what are you up to?
So I think if we cut to Agueda, we see her in her house, and she has her house is quite like it's small but not like cramped, and it is quite dim. She's got like lots of lamps that are like on even though it's sort of daytime, and I think we see her in her lounge room, and it's kind of like joined to the kitchen, and there is like a pot on the stove that is steaming, and she is going through. She has like a low cupboard in the lounge room that has a whole bunch of like big folders in it, like ring bound sort of folders, and they all have like a name, like each one has a name on the spine, and she's going through them, and eventually she finds one that like has Ray's name on it, and pulls it out and opens it up and begins to flick through it, and it's got like a bunch of like medical records and like what are clearly her notes in like her handwriting, and like scans for like receipts for medication and stuff, and then like right at the back there are a couple of records, like music records, and she takes one of those out, and I think like I don't know this genre enough, but it's definitely like country music of some sort, and like fairly old. Do you have a thought?
Is it because I'm about to drop some opinions about country music. All right. Is it that most interesting subgenre of country music, which is to say country music songs sung by women about getting revenge on the men who wronged them.
Oh wow, yeah,
Because
sure.
that's like far and away the most interesting part. All the rest are just
Yeah,
like men
sure.
singing about their horses or their cars
Yeah.
or their girlfriends and
Yeah,
how
yeah.
sad they probably are because they don't have them anymore. That's most
Yeah.
country. This is the interesting
Cool.
stuff.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, so it's something like that. And there's like a picture on the cover of like a woman sort of with this mass. She's got like massive hair, and she's like standing in a doorway or something. And it's all in black and white. And so Agueda like takes it out and puts it onto a record player, and puts the needle down, and then like goes back over to the stove and it sort of stirs the pot. I think she seems like she is in deep thought as she's kind of like stirring and sort of like it becomes this very kind of like meditative movement, and she gets sort of lost in like the music, and yeah, she seems to be she's thinking to herself about like Ray and the sort of the strangeness of the readings that she was trying to take when they like arrived, and just this feeling that there's something going on with their health or their illness that is like that just doesn't make sense to her, and it's bothering her. I'd like to argue for using the move, the deep work move.
What is this? No.
Okay.
You're not in a I would not argue to me how this is
Is a charged place? Because of the music. Because this is like this is a thing. Oh.
In the same way that I am the one, like at a meta level, I am the one who introduced this music into the narrative. I think this music, like these artists, you were introduced to by Ray.
Yes, absolutely. Like, and also this is a specific thing that that I think Agueda does for all of her patients, is that she has music she listens to when she's trying to understand their illness. Like it's a specific thing that she puts on the music so that she can like think about them more deeply.
My concern is that you might be veering into the zone.
Right.
You don't have
more
the zone
so than
move. You don't have the zone move, right? So that's my concern.
Yeah, and we did actually, and on that note, we did specifically kind of like detail that I don't come to you to get treatment. Like none of the emotional charge of our relationship happened at your house.
True.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm happy for that to just be like a non-move, but rather just like a thing that we see happening.
Yeah. In which case,
is that search for facts by proxy? You can't do that move.
Which is exactly why I'm trying to do it this way, right? Otherwise, I would absolutely be using that.
Yeah.
So like,
deep work is always the better option. Come on.
Yeah, that's true. However, I will taste the soup and then mark XP. Thank you very much.
Yes. Good job.
Good job.
I think what happens here is you look at your notes from the other day, and I think the blood, the beats per minute, and the blood pressure, and all of the stats, when you like look at like when they're actually happening, they're exactly the same as another patient's.
Oh, right. Okay. So there's something like there was something about those numbers that was actually familiar.
Yes.
Like when I wrote it down,
Yes.
I felt like I had just written these numbers recently because I'd written them just recently for someone
Yes,
else.
because you've just been visiting Birch. before you
Right.
went to the office, and you'd written down the numbers are the same for that day.
Are exactly the same. Yeah. Okay.
Is that the noise that Agueda makes?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think a series of like hums. Because yeah, she like goes and gets that notebook that she sort of carries around and yeah, checks the numbers, and looks concerned.
Remember, if you do want to trigger deep work, just create a place that is charged and tell us why it's charged, and then go to a place, create it fictionally yourself. Like, feel free to take that. The reins on
The ranch that Ray was working at the last time they were
yeah,
in
exactly,
town.
something like that.
Yeah, I want to think on that. So, do you want to maybe? Do you want to skip over to like a car drive?
It sounds
and
like there's a car drive happening. Yeah. I'll let you two look. We're here when you feel like it.
Yeah. I think I feel like the soundtrack to this scene in my head is totally the really sad car ride song in the musical version of Fun Home. Not necessarily because this is a sad scene or because any of the context is right, but just because that's a really good song about being in a car. It's really good. It like captures the vibe. It's a good musical, Ash.
Like, what is it? What is the demeanor of Ray like while driving?
Yeah, I think wistful. Yeah. Like they look like they're half remembering something, and there's like the beginnings of a smile like curling at the edges of their lips. But there's something like, yeah, a little bit like sad and distant in the way that they just like look out at the landscape. Yeah. They look straight ahead less than one probably should while driving, but like I bet like this is a television show where we're driving, so like that's just true in general, right? Like
It's also true of most folks while they're driving.
yes, probably.
Yeah, there's the like horrible rumble of the diesel engine that is permanently stuck in second gear. There's the,
Yep.
like I think that's it, right? Like the gearbox on this is completely fucked.
Yeah, why would
And-
you need
You can
gears other than second?
Yeah, exactly.
I gave up on gears other than second like 30 years ago
Yeah.
when the gearbox gave out.
Yeah. Yeah, you can do about like a max of like what, 4, maybe maximum 50 k's an hour. Like
Yeah.
just
I think
like
that's probably generous, to be
Yeah,
honest,
it
because
is.
the engine's pretty old as well.
yeah.
Like,
Yep.
I reckon like 35k is like top speed.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
we're just like trundling is the word I would use.
Yeah. Fair.
A leisurely stroll.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
exactly.
You look out the window, and see like a grey wolf having not much trouble keeping up.
Yeah, and I just like nod. There's not even any words. I just like stick the head half out the window and just like nod to it. Told you you'd be no trouble.
Point taken. You know, maybe if you'd explain these things, it wouldn't be so hard for, I don't know, everyone around you.
What's to explain?
Your friend.
He's a friend. What more needs saying?
Just usually 3 more sentences. I mean, you can pick, like, maybe who, when, why. Why is the one. Yeah.
He's a wolf, so he doesn't have a name.
You are failing your friend.
It's not my job to give him one. He'll tell me if and when he's ready.
Wait, apparently you're not listening.
I think like they genuinely look like hurt. Like there's that like childlike look of like what's the word I'm looking for? Of like indignation, of like what? Like you can't say.
Like, Andy, this isn't Monster Hearts. You don't need to shut them down.
That's right.
Maybe they'll learn something.
And they're like, it was that long winter I spent in over west in the prairies. So it would have been 63, which like no wolf lives that long.
Right,
it's just
no,
not a thing.
And Hart starts to go, and just bites it back.
I feel like Hart is very much a mentor by way of a suit. Like, I feel like there's definitely also some suit vibes.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And they're like, and why? I mean, beasts are people too. Two people sharing space near one another. We're not all that different.
All right.
And I think they reach out and like kind of pat you absently on the shoulder.
Yeah.
And they're like, if you spent some time sitting quietly, you probably made its friend too.
I'll think about it. Thanks for sharing. It's a good start.
So it sounds... Oh, sorry.
You always did like my stories.
You've told a couple of good ones in the past few weeks.
Yeah. We're having very different conversations and I love it. Yeah. And they're like, I haven't changed.
From what?
Always wanted my secrets.
You seem to have a lot of them. Are any of them good ones?
Yeah, they laugh and they turn to you with a delighted look and they're like, what would you call good?
The one you most don't want to tell me.
And I feel like by now it's like late afternoon, like the light is starting to fade a little, and so like
I was gonna say it's like it's not long till dusk.
Yeah, and so like the shot feels like more like close and like intimate.
Yeah.
And it takes on a little bit of that vibe of like two children like sitting with one another, like swapping seats. Like there's a bit of that vibe going on.
Yeah.
And they just like turn completely away from the road, and just look at you really intently because like of course they do.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, we were friends once, you and I. Good friends. You don't remember it now, which does hurt me. But when you were a kid, did I just speak a deep truth?
That was what I was wondering. Yeah. Yeah, I think you did.
What happens now?
There's a move for that.
Check it out.
Yeah.
What's the reaction you hope for, Luke?
Yeah, what is the reaction I hope for? Mm-hmm. I want like friendship, right? I want an acknowledgement of that intimacy that we once shared and like a desire to return to it.
Cool.
Okay.
All right. Roll plus true.
Yep, that's my goal. I love this move because it's always really risky, even on a 10+.
That's not a 10 plus. That's a 7 to 9.
My good stat, and I still rolled garbage.
Yeah.
That's middling. That's not garbage.
It's middling. Fuck it. I mean, like, the point of me saying this to you is to alter our relationship. I'm going to choose they take action as you hoped.
Awesome.
I'm not a person overly concerned with the status quo.
Yep.
Wonderful.
Either as a person or as this character.
Yeah, exactly. So you don't upset so you do upset the status quo, and the truth does
change our relationship.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And you do get out of this like some acknowledgement or affirmation of that relationship that has passed. Do I understand that correctly?
So,
Like-
the distance still holds true. You still don't remember, but I think,
Right.
like, this somehow, like,
Feels true.
feels
Yeah.
true to you.
Great. Yeah, and I instead of Heart pushing back like some quip or some version of no, she'll like continue to lock eyes with you, and one hand sort of goes to the steering wheel, like
Yeah.
finally.
Yeah, I was wondering, like, yeah.
Oh no, I've still got my hands on the wheel. I'm just not looking at it. And in fact, I think we get a distant shot, and I just like swerve around like, like some like animal that's like what, like there's like a rabbit sitting on the road. I just like swerve slightly around it because even though I'm not looking.
Great. Well, then scratch the part where I go to take the wheel. So you got it. And Heart will. Sorry.
That's all right. It's not your fault. Time's a funny thing.
Thanks for sharing.
I was wondering if this,
Thanks for listening.
like, in response, this is like the closest I've seen Heart to actually quietly sharing space.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's fair.
Yeah. Do you want to roll steady, Heart?
And
No, I'm terrible at it. This is the thing about how bad the apocalypse is. Like sometimes you just want to be like, no, I don't, because I'm bad at that stat. But that's not how this game works.
turns out, all right, great. Steady, you said, Ash?
Yeah.
Great. Let's see what.
7 and
Flat 9.
That means
Yeah.
you clear a you clear a distance with them, so you could actually. Oh no, you don't know that distance is on Luke's character.
Yep.
But you can clear one of the distances, and we can talk about like what that looks like.
Awesome. So I have. The distance I have with Ray is listens to me but doesn't understand.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I can well see on and off over the course of this slow drive, and even in like this has happened in the past, perhaps, and like just blank and fall flat. Heart worrying about not having a job. That's a lot of what Heart ends up talking about. Is like, and it isn't about the job; it's about the role and about like where did the oak deer go, and like what's happened, like what happened. And no one else seems to see. Like, everyone just thinks like there's no oak deer, so there's no hunting, and so I think there's a lot of that.
It's a bigger picture than that. Yeah.
And I think Heart gets kind of written off over and over again as the buffoon in the little hut. Like if I'm imagining there's someone who's not inherently that useful, and so just being able to emote all of those things in a way that finally isn't being prickly and like standoffish.
Yeah, and Ray is like, yes, like I hear you having these emotions and they are valid, and like I am taking a concrete action right now to help you like address the root cause of those feelings you're expressing, which demonstrates that I understand what like you're saying.
Yeah.
But it's not really about the job. That's why we're looking for the oak deer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That.
Ash, I feel like as we, because I think we get a shot of like in the distance, it's like a big long like helicopter shot of the car, and it's like it's like one of those like heartbreakingly gorgeous like landscape shots because it's sunset over like the prairies and like the mountains, and everything's like splendorous and like crimson and vermilion and like purple, and like these long fingers of like dark indigo like streaking the sky. Anyway, I'm just thinking about sunsets. And I think Ray is like, and we can see like our destination is like getting close. But in the meantime, like we cut back inside, and Ray is like looking ahead again with that like distant, wistful look, and we just see a massive murmuration of starlings, just like wheel like through and across the sky. And I would like to do deep work because I think I am in an emotionally charged place.
I would like to interject before you get the chance to.
Okay.
Because I want to throw a move in here.
Cool.
So yeah,
Go for
we
it.
see,
and then,
we see a-
then I'll do my deep work.
yeah, exactly. We see a susurration of starlings. You
Yep.
see like a flash of tapetum lucida. Is it tapetum lucidum?
The green flash.
The green, of eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see like a flash of eyes. And I think when we see that like big expansive shot, we see like this beautiful countryside, but we also see the damage that it's been done to it by like the biome falling apart. And it's just a bunch of these trees are just like now completely bare in a dry and like I think we can get this sense of the soil being like quite sandy compared to what it had been.
I think there's wind. Like we can see dust being picked up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think we see this flash of tapetum lucidum from like behind a tree, and then this tree just falls down. And like, had you been driving faster, you probably wouldn't have even like you would have just gone past it, right? But because your car is like traveling at like 35 k's an hour, this thing just like starts falling towards the car.
Oh no!
It's just gonna what are you doing?
That's not good. Fuck. Just give me a moment. I just realized I wrote the wrong thing. In a part of my description of my car, I wrote the wrong words for my look. I wrote back up, and I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? I meant beat up.
Beat up. It's about to be a lot more beat up. With like
I think so. It's like tumbling towards where we're going to hit. Or
basically, yeah.
I think because I know the capacity of the car, like I hit the brake.
Cool. Meet with fear.
We're gonna pull to a stop, like ahead of it, hopefully.
Hold steady.
We'll see how that goes. Andy, stand by to help me if I screw the pooch on this one.
It's gonna be great. Nothing bad's gonna happen.
Nothing bad's gonna happen. Oh yeah!
Excellent, cool.
You can't stop me when I'm flying in my car.
No, exactly. Yeah. You keep your cool and gain some insight. So the car comes as close to screeching screeching to a halt as it possibly can, which is not much. You're on a dirt road. There's a little bit like, but like some only for a second.
Juddering.
Yeah, some juddering as like the car stalls. I think you've got the headlights on at this point, and then like cast across this tree that's fallen across the way.
Where can I find beauty here?
Yeah, cool, excellent. I love it. I think that at this point, because the car has stalled, you just hear the silence of the forest, right? Like, which is different to what it once was. It once would have been much louder.
Yeah, and so I think I turn to Heart and I say, I know we're in a hurry, but do you mind if we just sit here and enjoy the quiet for a minute or two?
Good idea.
Yeah, and so I just like turn the car off.
Yeah.
And we just like sit there in silence, and I like stare at the starlings.
If you want to, deep work is fine now. Yep.
And I'm thinking,
you've gone from
about
near death to cool.
I'm thinking about Heart, and I'm thinking about the feelings Heart has expressed to me about her job.
Mm-hmm.
And I am thinking about the oak deer. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking about, and like, this is the thing where this game is as much literary as it is filmic, because this is not a thing, like, in the film, like, there's no way for us to experience this right in the film, but like, in the novel version of this, in the like Stephen King style, like casual, indirect, reported stream of consciousness, like montage that's going through my head right now. There's a very distinct literary thing he does that I'm thinking of here. Like, just slipped innocuously into the stream of like normal thoughts so casually that you could miss it is a recollection of like Ray like flying alongside and like through the antlers of the oak deer.
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like in there like so neatly that like you could almost like your eyes could almost skip over it. It's just like one piece of this like like Ray's just thinking about things.
Yep.
Cool. And so I am doing deep work. I seek understanding,
Yep.
and what I want is to understand like how to help Hart like bring back the oak deer. Like I don't want to make a change myself. I want to know how can I help Hart.
Yeah.
What do I need? What is my role in helping Hart do this thing? Because I think Ray's feeling, and I'm gonna tie it back in. I think the reason I feel a responsibility towards Hart is because I think like at least in Ray's mind and Ray's understanding, like Hart is the one who will do this. Hart is the one whose job it is to bring these back. Yeah, like what is my part in that picture?
This is great because like often I play this as quite realistic, and I'm like, this is the realistic things you need to do. But I'm gonna
I know, right?
A different angle.
It's the best part. It's just like mundane stuff. Like
so. But it's
Ray.
only
possible at a specific place.
Yeah.
Right.
You'll need help from Birch. It will distance you from the wolf. It's only possible at a specific place, wherever this photograph is.
Yeah.
Shall we take a break?
That sounds like a good idea.
All right. We'll be back in a minute, chat, while Ray and Hart like look up at the night sky and hear the engine ticking as it cools down.